Assalamualaikum. Welcome to this week's weekly Sadaqayon program organized by Quantum Meditation Society London. As you know, in this program, we discuss every week about something that is relevant to all our lives, things that matter to almost all of us as human beings, things that as human beings, all of us have to go through. And we try to learn and gain insights and learn about tools and strategies that can help us make the best of our lives. Today, we are going to talk about something that is becoming increasingly familiar to more and more people, and that is the feeling of overwhelm. This, for many people, is the number one negative state, the most common negative state that they go through in modern societies, in these societies with a very modern, fast-paced lifestyle. What is overwhelm? Being productive is being highly productive, doing a lot of work is not necessarily overwhelmed. You know, a janitor can work 14 hours a day, the president can work 14 hours a day, but neither of them are necessarily overwhelmed. Overwhelm is when we experience a kind of negative state, a stressful state, due to what we are having to do or what we perceive as we must do, that actually hampers our well-being and our functioning. So someone like me who may be working, who may have kids, around this time, she may be trying to wrap up all her projects at work before she goes on a holiday with her family. So on the one side in her head are all these work projects that she needs to finish. She has given herself strict deadlines, for maybe her bosses have given her strict deadlines, or maybe she herself has given herself strict deadlines. So that's in her head. But at the same time, she may be the primary person who is planning the holiday that you're going to. So she may, she may not have been able to book the hotel. Maybe she has some of the hotels booked, some of the flights booked, but there are other things she needs to take care of. Maybe she needs to do some shopping for her kids for appropriate wear during the holiday. But maybe after the holiday, she will come back and they will celebrate Christmas. And she has a long to-do list about preparing for Christmas, about getting gifts, about setting up the house, decor, etc., etc., etc. On top of that, her kids might be having all sorts of things at school. They might be going through tests. They might have choir singing. They might have plays. So she has to go. She's attending all of those things. They all require, costumes and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things that are going on in her head, and she may be just going through one thing to another, and she might be fine until One day she just feels like this is just too much. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about. I can't think. She might just feel like, or you might just feel like, I just can't think. I don't even know what to think about. Like my brain is being pulled at 5 different directions and it's hung. Just, like when I have a 4-year-old, when sometimes he gets his hand on my computer or my phone, and when he gets it, he goes like he's pressing. So you're pressing all sorts of buttons for your brain. You're, like you're a little stressed about that, but you're happy about that, but you're excited about that, and you have to do this, that, and then you like all sorts of buttons are getting pressed on your brain, and your brain doesn't know what to do. Like my phone, when my 4-year-old gets his hand on it, like it's always goes into emergency mode because he's and then my phone doesn't understand the commands that are coming to it at rapid succession. It's like, you can access me after 5 minutes. Now I'm in emergency mode. You can access me after 5 minutes. So your brain is now gotten into a state where it's like, I need to shut down. I just need to shut down. I don't know what to do. I just need to shut down. I need to restart. But here's the but. You don't think you can shut down. I mean, the reason the brain's gone into that state in the first place is because you are giving yourself these commands that I just have to go, 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 go. I can't slow down now. If I extend that deadline, that would be like the end of my career. If I do this, my boss will be so unhappy, and that will mean doom and gloom. And if my son doesn't wear the perfect Christmas jumper at his school, Christmas jumper day, that'd be like really bad because and or I will go and I'll find all of them have been sold out. Whatever it is that is going on in your world. For you, it may be a student, it just means like the sheer volume of projects you need to turn in. Like you don't know whether I should make that nice poster for my TPR, or whether I should study for my geography test, or whether I should do my English homework where I have to write the biography of a teacher. So um so whatever it is, overwhelm is a feeling where you feel like, I just cannot deal with this anymore. You may start feeling confused. You may start feeling like there's some kind of brain fatigue going on. My brain is not working. You may feel burdened. You may feel emotional. You may get emotional. You may start crying. You may feel upset with other people. Like you really feel like you need to stop, but you also feel like you can't stop. So that is a state that is getting super, 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 super common in this day and age, because especially in certain societies, our work life is designed in such a way that it really takes up a lot of our time, and whatever it's like the other things like that deserve your attention, like parenting or like a home or like relationship, they kind of, it's like you do them at extra time. Like it's like they're like your scraps. But in your heart, you want to do them well because relationships matter. Your children matter. So so there is this inner conflict of interest that's going on inside that sometimes result in a state where you feel like, like my phone feel going to the emergency mode. I'm like, no, shutting down. So if this state is something that you're experiencing right now, or you've experienced in the past, or maybe you're somebody who continuously experiences this state, is often in this state, here are just some things that the experts recommend and have worked for me. The number one thing I think that often happens when we're overwhelmed is our mind lies to us, and our mind tells us that I really have no choice but to go on the way I'm going on. I just have to. I have no choice. I cannot slow down. Yes, it would be great if I got some extra meditation. Yes, it would be great if I go for a walk and kind of start dealing with all the emotions I've been just shoving down and just going into and going to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Yes, it would be great if you could breathe and slow down. But I don't have the time for that now. I will slow down after this week. I will slow down next month. I will slow down. It's usually like in 2 weeks, everybody will be slowing down. Like have some slowing down doesn't mean that, you don't do anything and you waste your time, but I will give my time to actually checking on upon myself and dealing with my emotions and my mental well-being. So usually everybody's like, this can be like the planning and all the things you'll be doing can be a lot of work too. So it's not like during your holidays you are suddenly like, you are like dealing with all, your emotions and letting your brain sort of reset and then come with it, that's it's giving you a fresh start. Not necessarily, it often does, but it often doesn't also. It may not also, especially if it's short and there's a lot of work involved. So the number one thing to remember is this thing that you're telling yourself that I really don't have any space to slow down, or maybe your home has become a mess because you've been so busy with your studies and around you is a mess, and that's adding to your feeling out of control, feeling overwhelmed. But you're telling yourself, no, I really can't spare half an hour to pick all these things up or put everything in place, but that is a lie. So this is the first point I want to emphasize about overwhelm, is that is a lie. And normally we give in to this lie and we go on too long, and then we reach a stage where we just can't do anything anymore. Like I sometimes, like I would, I would start to like have a meltdown or something, start crying or something. But if I reflect, like the things I was telling myself are not true. So the thing is to tell yourself that no, our thoughts are not always true. And this thing I'm telling myself that no, I don't have an hour to meditate, or I don't have an hour to meditate and go for a walk, or I don't have half an hour to write down all the things that are in my brain that are kind of pulling at me and pulling me in different directions. The first thing to remember is this is not true. When we are in a stressed state, our brain is in the fight flight mode, right? So it just gets you in that mode where you feel like I have to fight, or I have to run. This is not the time to slow down, but that's because your body is in that state, and the body is sending signals to your brain, and your brain is then generating thoughts that are aligned with that state in your body. So the brain is kind of generating thoughts like, no, 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 I have to go, 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 go. But it's not true. It's not necessarily true. So if you are overwhelmed, I challenge you in this second to stop. I have a friend, she said like when she was doing her PhD, in the last stages of her PhD, she was like, if you have done a PhD, you know how it is, right? When you're writing your dissertation, it's a lot of work, right? You are just running to like finish it by your deadline. So she says like, she used to get overwhelmed, but then she used to tell herself, what if I died tomorrow? What if I was dead tomorrow? Would I not, would this matter then? It wouldn't. So let me go and meditate, you know? Let's just imagine I've died, you know? So she would go and make herself meditate. She would go and make herself practice relaxation. And when she did it, then you will miraculously find that things seem now much easier than it was seeming an hour ago. Because a lot of the pressure you're feeling is because there is chaos in your brain. There is no clarity in your brain. There is no prioritization in your brain when you're in a state of overwhelm. You don't know which direction you should go, right? So what this does, these things, this could be a little thing like just if you're in an office, taking a break and taking some deep breaths. Or if you have the time, if you can spare some time, do a whole relaxation meditation. Or if if it's exercise for you, go for a walk. Ideally, you should be doing all of these things, and you should do your daily, you should be uncompromising about these things in your daily routine. I promise you, it will be much, much, much more productive in the long run. But start. If you're already in a state of overwhelm, just allow yourself to stop and go and do these things. And then you will see that you feel more in control, that things are not really as out of control as your mind was telling you. So, first point, allow yourself to stop. Second point is relaxation, probably, best stop with relaxation. Second point that helps me is a brain dump. What's a brain dump? All of those things, normally when you are overwhelmed, there are like lots of little things that you feel deserve your attention, but you're not being able to give them your attention, right? So I have to activate these parent portals for my kids, and then that's not something I have like written somewhere. It's like, so I have these things in my head like, oh yeah, I'll forget that, and then it'll be too late, or something like that. So what you should do, what is very effective, is if you sit down and just write out every little thing that is sort of seems like it deserves your attention, pulling at you, And what you will see that a lot of these things are things that you can, that things that are just emotions that want some processing. These are not things that you can actually do something about. These are not things that actually do something about, and a lot of these things are actually very little things that don't take too much time, but maybe it's slightly unknown. So it's stressing you out. Maybe in your brain, you're making it much bigger than they are. because like in your brain, it seems like there are 11 things like that. You're not sure when the deadline is for where for what. But when you write them down, you are like, okay, I know that, are these things. And a lot of these things or things that are just, are sort of calling for your attention, you will see are things you have no control over. So your test is already done. You can't change the result now by worrying, right? You could still you can still pray, you can still do your visualization, your monchopi, but worrying is not going to help. But you will see that a lot of these things are completely beyond your control. Like, what if my husband does it? What if my kid does it? What if this happens? What if that happens? That is sort of lurking in the background, right? So write them all down, everything that seems to be tugging at your brain. Then cross out the things that are beyond your control. You will look like, okay, this I can't do anything about, this I can't do anything about, this can't do it, this kind of do it, this I can't do anything about. Gone. That's up to, just send a prayer up to Allah, God, Bhagavan, the universe, whatever you call that, that the power that's beyond you. Send a prayer and then like, bye-bye, I'm letting this go, I'm surrendering this. Then look at the other things. If there are certain feelings, let yourself feel them. Then look at the things you need to do and prioritize. Like, sit down and like, what is it that I absolutely need to do? And this feeling I have about, if I don't do this thing, it's the end of the world. Is it really true or not? Is it really true or not? Look at it, make a decision. Like, okay, it's important enough, I will do it. If it's not, like, I've made my decision. This one I'm not going to deal with right now. And I will, I've prioritized. Yes, I would do this, and this. That would be ideal. But under my current circumstances, with the resources I have, with the time I have, this is my priority. These I will leave for later. You will be amazed at how different you feel. You will be amazed at how different you feel. So don't tell yourself you don't have choice to slow down. Do a brain dump. Number 3 is like, this really works for me when when I feel overwhelmed. For me, overwhelmed, as I said, is always like I feel like I'm being pulled in different directions and I can't do and all of them are important and I can't do justice to them. I take one boring thing, because if you're already in a state of overwhelm, then you're probably not, you are not at the peak of your creative powers right now, right? You're not, like, your brain is kind of inside you. It's a little bit chaotic right now. So I take one boring thing, and that doesn't require too much thinking, too much creativity. But I keep on doing that, just that one thing. So what's the example? Say there, I need to organize the files on my computer, right? So like, my files are a mess. So there are lots of extra files on my desktop, and I prefer to keep my desktop clean, right? So something like that. Okay, delete the extra files, put them in folders, or deal with your photos if there are photos on your phone. Or if you're in your home, if you have clothes lying down, or if you have like some shelf where there are a lot of extra stuff and you've been meaning to declutter it for a while, that sort of thing, if I do, and if I spend a stretch of time on it, 2 hours maybe, a whole morning if I can, 3 hours, That I've seen is like it really flips my brain. It brings my brain to a state where it's like, okay, we're on top of this. We're working on this. Yes, we have things, but we're again doing one thing at a time. We're not worrying about what we can control, and we will whatever is it that putting the demands on us, we will do this to the best of our ability, and that's all we can do. But we're on it. We are not hung. We're not in the emergency mode anymore. So boring things, like, as I said, like organizing your files, organizing your photos, organizing a drawer, decluttering something, those type of things, but that you can do a little repetitively for a while, those type of things really help me feel like, okay, I am I am back on top of things. That gives me back that sense of control that goes absolutely missing when somebody is feeling overwhelmed. So, very short talk today, and ideally, if you are, in quantum, if you are with quantum and you follow the guidance that our guru provides, quantum provides, of how you should design your life. And if step by step, you design your life starts looking almost, fully like the quantum way, how quantum guides you to, you won't get into the overwhelmed state in the first place. I can say that the most productive person, or the most, I would say at least the most hardworking person I have seen in my life, is our guru, our teacher. He literally works, I don't know, like he sleeps very little, but don't try to be like that in one go. Like it takes a level of spirituality and to have that control over your body where you don't need to sleep that much. But so he's pretty much working around the clock, but he is never stressed. He always taught us like work, but don't stress about work. Very hard for most people to do, but I see him do it all the time. And the point I wanted to make is like no matter what he's doing, he's always having his food at the same time. His routine stays more or less the same. Like he's not his if you're praying, your prayer times, if your showers time, your the time you go home, the time you go to bed, the time you eat, the time you meditate, if those things are very anchored in your daily life, you do those things at the same time every day, you will never get to the state where you feel like things are completely out of control. I just can't deal with it. So try to do that, and then try to make routines for the next day, make a timetable for the next day, and try to every day before you sleep, go through your day, process like the emotions that come up. If there is some guilt for not doing something, forgive yourself. Think of how you can do better. If um if you got upset, forgive yourself. Make a promise to yourself to go and ask for someone's forgiveness. If if there's something somebody said and it's hurting you, let yourself cry and release the feeling so that next day you can go fresh. So it's very important to put time for processing in your daily routine. We used to think like, oh, nothing matters, sleep doesn't matter, we will sleep when we die. But things have changed because scientists now have shown us that lots of important work is being done within you, in your brain, in your body when you're sleeping. And if those things can't get done, you can't function. Your body and your mind cannot function. So you need to, so we are much more careful about saving time for proper enough sleep. But something that's we still don't think about as much is like saving time for processing all the emotions that are coming up during the day. What's happening is more and more time, even when we are free, even when we're in the tube, in the subway, in the bus, we are not sitting still. We're not sitting with ourselves. What we're doing is like we're looking at our phone, we're playing a game, or we're watching a movie on our phone. Like I often see like people on the tube, like they're watching something, or either they're playing a game. And of course, like when you at other times, whenever you're free in the middle of your work, you're doing that, right? You're going off to play a game or you're something like that. So you really have no time during the day to to process your emotions, to let your emotions come up, and also to for your subconscious to give you ideas about success. Because a lot of the most creative ideas come when what? People are in the shower, people have gone for a walk, or people are just about to fall asleep, or people are just woken up. So these are the times when you have put in a work and then you detach, is when your brain is integrating everything that you've given it. And it will give you a solution. Your mind and your body are integrating everything and getting ready to give you a solution, a good idea. But if those times are not there, that opportunity is not there, then there is something wrong with the way you're going about your life, okay? Your subconscious can't help you. So if in your day you put times that are to just detach, go for a shower, go for a walk, washing the dishes, like stuff like that doesn't require that much work, that's when you will see, like you will get a really good idea for that essay or the project you're doing. Because that's when your brain has now got the time to, your brain and your subconscious mind has now had the time to integrate and give you an idea. And it's your mind is detached enough and open enough that those ideas can now come to you. So if you follow these things, you won't get into an overwhelmed state in the first place, okay? So that is, I think, all I wanted to say today. So if you're in overwhelm and you're telling yourself, I really can't stop, that's your mind lying to you. Slow down before it's too late. Number two, do a brain dump. Write down everything that is sort of tugging at your attention and cross out the things that you can't control, then prioritize. Number three, pick one boring task and do it for a while, and that will flip your state. And the other things is like, in order to prevent overwhelm, put your regular things, the things that you do every day, in a timetable so that you're doing it every day at the same time. It will anchor you. Save time to make plans for the next day, a relaxed timeline, and to process every emotion that arose during the day at the end of the day so that so you're not shoving your emotions down. You will see that overwhelm doesn't occur as much. Okay, so that was our subject for the day. I hope like we have been able to give you some insights in this time. And today we're going to do relaxation meditation, which is what you should do if you're in a state of overwhelm, in that extreme stress. And again, it's just the lens through which you are looking at your life right now. The relaxed state will flip the lens, and suddenly things will seem like you're much more in control. You will have much more clarity. It will be much easier to prioritize, and you will get back to that state of feeling good. Okay, so we're going to do the go back to our original relaxation meditation now. Okay, so that was our Sadakayan for today. Hope it gave you some insights. Um, and you found it useful. If you're going on a holiday, or best of luck with everything. Hope you enjoy yourself and get rejuvenated for a wonderful start to the new year that's coming. We will be continuing our programs. Hope to see you next week. And until then, always, no matter what happens, stay connected to your inner hope, inner joy. If you lose that connection, work on going back to that connected state as fast as you can, because that is really what makes a difference in our lives. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next week.